Welcome to the European Summit, the industry-leading event that brings together the whole affiliate marketing ecosystem. You are watching Stage 2, and this is how to use lightweight motion videos to achieve a 45% conversion lift, featuring Cyril. So we encourage you to, as you listen, ask us a few questions, and we will be coming to them at the end. So without further ado, over to you, Cyril.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Romana, for the quick intro. Happy to have you here. I don't know if you're in the morning, afternoon, or evening where you stand, but I'm currently in Malaysia, so it's the middle of the afternoon right now. I guess today the objective of the session was to share a little bit more on how to capitalize on mobile-first short-format videos in any of your campaigns, right? Especially on your paid ads campaign, but in general in your holistic marketing approach as well. So maybe a bit of a background explanation here that will feed into the entire story. But my name is Cyril, and I'm the founder and CEO of Motionable. As you can probably tell from my accent already, but I am French, and I've been living in Malaysia for the past 6 years. Within this 6-year span, I've been working in a lot of different positions as CMOs in-house, so in different in-house teams. And I've created 2 years ago an agency called Elixus, which is a performance marketing agency in Southeast Asia across 8 countries. So and why I'm telling you all of this is because this is the story of short formats and how it came to life through Motionable. We are running performance marketing ads across a lot of different players and industries, and we are A/B testing at scale. And if there is one thing we've actually learned from all those A/B testing is that the motion format and the video format is overall outperforming everything else in the market currently. So here today is to actually kind of break it down and how to use those formats for you in your different marketing activation to achieve such an uplift. All right, so let's jump right in. And I guess what would be a presentation about short format video without a short format video intro, right? So I'm just going to invite you to watch that 45-second video because I'm going to be referring to it quite a lot as one of the good formats to use for explainer videos. So I'm going to launch it now. Romana, just let me know if the sound is not on, okay? If it's on, I'll just play it.
All is sounding great, Cyril. Yeah, all is really good.
All right, let's get to it. All right, that's it. Oh, I need to. All right, so I guess enough for the self-promotion, right? But this is kind of an important step for you to understand how video formats work and how we can break it down later on into the presentation. All right, so in terms of video format and benefits from it, those are numbers we pull from our own campaign and from our Facebook partner marketing data. I guess the key is to understand 3 things, right? The first one is the actual conversion lift. So when we talk about both click-through rate and also cost per acquisition for e-commerce, if there are e-commerce players among us. The second thing is in terms of attention, right? So whether you are defining objectives by awareness or whether you are actually trying to actually get clicks on, the video format is above all working better. And eventually, the brand recall. We have a lot of retailer and that wants to drive also offline. And this is one of the key formats to achieve those. Now, I think one of the most common mistakes is to overcomplicate that video format and how to use it, what to do. So I'll kind of go down to all the basics and see what needs to be done in order to be efficient and not too costly in your video format. So let's start by break down 3 main usage and application for video. So one would be the video ads. So those would be format purely made for your paid advertising. So whether you're in top funnel, middle funnel, or bottom funnel, I'll come to that into a minute. So this would be an example. So this is a Facebook ads, for instance, 6-second, very, very short format, very impactful on a square 1x1 size. Second application would be what we call the snackable content. This is when you want to build a little bit more around the brand that direct consumer ads. So here's an example of an IG story, for instance. So you can see it's a little bit more entertaining. It's a bit of a longer format. There is more emphasis on the color type of the brands and everything. And ultimately, explainer video. So this is basically the first video I just showed you about Motionable. Is more tailor-made for when you want to explain a product or a service you just launched, a bit more educational. And this can be applied across literally every channel. Okay, so now that we have those kind of 3 main ideas and 3 main applications of Motion, let's look at how to make it work and what makes a good video from, pardon my language, but a shitty video, because there are tons of them out there, and this is not going to get you the uplift you're looking for. So I guess there are kind of 6 essentials that you need to look at. The first one, and I'll not start with a shorter in duration, but by define your objectives. Because once again, right, the video is only a format. It's, at the end of the day, a marketing collateral. So it still have to match whether you're trying to attract prospect or convert on a retargeting funnel. That will impact the size, that will impact the length of the video, that will impact the kind of call to action you put in it. Very similar to a static format, same mechanism, but applied on a video. The second point is shorter in duration. So as you understood, I only mentioned like 6 and 15 seconds so far. The main format are like 6, 12, 15, and maximum 30 seconds. That will be your all-rounder, whether you're applying for app, whether you're applying for main platform, for YouTube bumper ads. That will be your main go-to. You will realize that the first video is 45 seconds about Motionable is also because this could be used in a website, for instance. And in that case, you have a little bit more time to show and display what you want people to see. Third thing is sound off, right? So here we have the chance to put the sound on because it's a presentation, but most of the time people will consume your video without any sound. So if it's too sound dependent, it's going to be a problem to get that conversion uplift. I mean, frame your visual story is a bit of a no-brainer, right? But it's still important to have all your design graphic aligned properly. Otherwise, same. If it starts to be a little bit off frame, that will be unappealing and then unsuccessful. So size matters, especially for the text, right? I showed you that example, right, as a kind of embedding all those, but even here the text could be a little bit small for the objectives, right? You want text that pop so people can easily digest what they are seeing. And the last one, and it's something that I really want to emphasize, is the templatization of your video. Move away from this as much as you can. So in a nutshell, yes, dynamic moving format in a video format will perform generally better than any static. But when you're looking at template made at scale with products, it's not going to get where you want. And trust me, we've tried, even in our business model, right? Because it's much easier to then templatize everything. But at the end of the day, whether you're looking at pure conversion or obviously branding, but how and the quality and how predominant your brand is in that video is one of the key success factors. That's why, just a side note, but in Motionable, we never worked on templates. And so everything is handcrafted, right? And it's doable, and it's not that expensive compared to what people have in mind. So that's kind of like 6 points. Again, right? The idea is not to revolutionize anything, but really to get that basics in place, because numerous of time, whether we're talking big international brands or small entrepreneurs, we are facing those kind of like a bit off brief compared to what they try to achieve. Now, some tips and tricks to make it successful, right? I guess I want to show you 3 different examples here and kind of dissect them a little bit. So I'll just replay that video first. And then this one. Okay, so what does that show us? The first thing first is how to showcase your brand and product. And this is especially relevant for short formats. And this is this one, right? So again, I'll put it about getting your brand in the first extremely fast, so first 2 seconds, and get your product as a star here. So you can see, the brands appear 2 times. This right at the beginning and right at the end with a call to action, because we are in an e-com scenario here. The product is starified along the entire video. Same here, right? So a little bit less branding because we are on a IG story, so the brand is already displayed here, but it's all about putting the product in front, right, and playing with it. This is extremely key. Again, too many times the product is just appearing too short and the brand at the last minutes, and that defeats the purpose. So that kind of take care about the highlights and the product and service. Then now play with more formats. So when you're looking at a motion video, you have a lot of things to play with. IG story, short format, horizontal, AR filter, and this is all the things you should experiment in an A/B test framework. The same way when you do A/B test CTA, you need to A/B test format to see what your audience is about. So that's why we have 3 formats here: IG stories, in-feed, and that AR filter type of interaction, right?
Cyril, sorry to interrupt you. Would you mind just putting the screen on full? Because at the moment we're seeing the borders.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second then. All right. Okay. Perfect.
Wonderful.
Sorry
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, here you will have then 3 different, for instance, format to use and play with. It's 3 different brands here, obviously, just to showcase, but you should apply on the same ads different treatment. Eventually, the static plus video work better, right? So this is one of the questions I really get asked very often, which is about, okay, does that need to be a produced and filmed video when you can see, you know, like people, when you can see like actual kind of TV ads material? No, it doesn't have to be. On the contrary, right? Especially on performance marketing, the short video formats are all motion, right? Everything you've seen here, there is no filming at all. That's what allows it to be scalable, because when you launch your ads, you would want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 50 different creative, which are a bit harder to do when you have to go through full studio. That doesn't mean, and I'll come to that in a minute, but embedding your actual film, if you have, into those motion ads is very powerful as well. So always the combination of 2. All right. Okay. So we were talking about A/B testing quite a lot, and this is extremely key, right? So I'll just show you 4 examples of 4 videos, and you will see that even very simple and by the book A/B test can go a long way. So this is the first one. And you see this one has no sound on. This is the second one. So to give you some context, since there is no sound, this was one of our customers, and we were trying to get actually more registration and install for the apps, right, the financial apps. So we were running different campaigns with different USPs and A/B tests within those campaigns. So that's what you call a multivariate testing. So on the same ad and the same campaign, you will actually see those 4 creative competing within each other. So 2 things to note here. You will see that here is just a color background change, right? And you will see here that it's just the USPs and the way the text is highlighted, right? And we compare and mix and match the 4 together. Eventually, what you want to check when you do multivariate, so this is a bit more performance than video, but still, is always look at your end goal, right? So here, what we were trying to get is not only install, but only registration, right? So if you only look at some KPI, you will get this format working better because your cost per install will go down. But actually, the cost per install is a tricky metric because if you're trying to activate those install, you want to look at this registration. So anyway, my point is play with A/B test on video the exact same way you will do on static, and don't be shy to go above and beyond, right? Because this is how the video format can really bring that crazy uplift. Okay. Eventually, video should also be thought in terms of modular block. So one of the big questions is like, oh, we don't have the time, we don't have the resources, and we don't have the budget to get those videos done. And all of those things is kind of a mental wrong picture of what video advertising used to be even 2-3 years ago. So you saw the master video I showed you, right? So I'm not going to play it again, the entire motion video intro. So these could be your base video that you would want to use on either a presentation or a website where people have time to digest. So you see here, we use it in a 9:16 format because we can also push it on IG story or LinkedIn story. And then from here, we'll create 3 child videos. So from the same video, we extract and we worked on a shorter format. Just highlighting different USPs. So I'll play those. So for instance, here. So you see it's the exact same footage as the main video, but on a shorter format, 15 seconds, purely highlighting the main application. So as we discussed at the beginning, was actually the paid ads, the snackable content, and the explainer videos. Now, same footage, but even shorter. This would be a 6 second just to explain and give credibility and say, hey, we are motionable, we work with all of those brands, right? And then even shorter one, which is in a GIF format, right? Where we actually just explain that this is what we do, unlocking the power of video ads at scale, and this is actually without running your budget, right? So you see from one video, all of a sudden you end up with 4 videos that you can use for your different marketing objectives. One will be the full-blown when you can explain and then convince. And then the other one could be used in different scenarios. So either as testimonial, or if we're speaking of a marketing funnel, the main one could be your top funnel. And then as more as you go down your funnel towards the conversion, you can shorter down all the formats. All right, hope that makes sense. Also, please feel free to shoot the question. I can't see them right now, but we'll get right into it in a minute. Okay. So now we were discussing the usage of static and how do we move from a static to a full-blown motion video strategy. And I wanted to do a kind of a 2 minutes, again, like zoom in into this. So you see, this is a simple example where you don't need a lot of crazy expensive things to get a proper video strategy. So this is, for instance, one of our customer inputs. They just gave us a logo, one product shoot, in that case, a model, and the copy they want. And from here, you can just get a little bit creative and you end up with different output. Again, applying what I just explained before, using different formats to get the best out of your videos. So from the same input, we got 3 different outputs. The static, I'm not going to talk about it, but a 1x1 square format and an IG story vertical format. All right, so same example here. Here it's actually already an existing banner. So you can use your existing preset for your marketing campaign, your marketing calendar, and transform that into motion video. All right, so you've seen this one already, but you see that these are the exact same elements, but animated into a dynamic format. And again, in feed and here in an IG story. All right, so Romana, tell me if we are on timing. What I just wanted to do is actually just show you just a few things to get you inspired for your next campaign, right? How it could look like, how it could work before we get into the question and answer. So these are just different industries, right? So I'll just play them. So you see, even automobile industry, short format, applying this what we discussed, right? So you can see the product is tarified. It's a short format, one USP, brand and call to action, right? Here is how we used. This is an app. So right here, you can see how you can also embed either influencers or UGCs, things like that, directly into your ads. So you are having the people within your brand ecosystem. This is usually a very powerful combo. Kumu is a social app, so that makes the trick pretty well. Okay, then you can have like pure product-oriented videos, so very simple ones to do, and always highlighting where you can find them. So this is more for the ads, and I'll conclude with some other a little bit more creative ways to use them, right? So the AR filter is one of the most underrated because I think it's believed a very complex things to put in place. But these are some examples we've done for some of our brands, right? And how you can apply AR filters. So this is a very, very strong ways to get community engagement. So playing with the different products on your Instagram. So that's called a face tracker. This is same application, but a little bit different because you get all the angles. A simple one where actually this was for a French celebrity that has a mustache, and they wanted to be able to replicate that. So you see, you can be really creative with it. And then you have kind of AR for objects, as I showed you before. Right, so obviously this is not going to be doable for everyone, nor should it be, right? As I said, define your objective. If your objective is pure conversion, you might want to move away from those and go into the bit more traditional 6-second with call to action format. If you are building a little bit more of a funnel, if you are building a community, if you are looking at brand awareness, those are extremely powerful formats to use, and that will get the uplift you're looking for. Okay, so just quickly, so you've seen this one, so I'll just show you this one. All right, so these are a little bit more branded videos that can be used, as I say, to build your brand awareness. Those are the Insta poll, extremely powerful when it comes to community engagement, and this is a bit more traditional ads. So as you can see, same context, right? Again, applying the basics, the format. You can see that with or without sound, There is the brand always present, focusing on the product and highlighting the benefits here. And right at the end, you get your call to action and the brand appearing again. Okay, all right, that's it for me. I've added a lot of other examples, but I guess we can come to it when we have some questions. So I'll stop share my screen. All right.
Thank you so much, Cyril. That was so interesting. Thank you.
Cool. Glad you liked it.
Yes, really interesting. I have some questions for you.
Okay, perfect.
The first one being, how do you find the right balance between full-blown film and very manual automated ads?
Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty good question. I guess what you need to do is, at all costs, I'll suggest to move away from both. If you are very manual, it's kind of going to untick one of the first point I was mentioning, which is it still needs to look good. This is, trust me, I'm a performance marketer, so the look good and not look good doesn't really matter to me. But for motion video, it is important. If the quality, if it's blurry, if all those details, it will impact a lot the click-through rate. Again, if you go directly into the full production, yeah, that's great, but that's going to cost you an arm. So if you can afford, go for it. But in most of the companies, no need to go fully into people, character, theater, playing, and everything.
Okay, thank you. And what is the benefit of motionable over DIY motion while using the available platforms?
Okay, so this is one of the key questions, right? So we enter into a little bit of more of a sales pitch, so I apologize for that, but I'll just take it away from the motionable topic and just how to prioritize maybe video agencies versus DIY tool in general. So DIY tool will fall right into the templatized category. So yes, if you have absolutely zero budget and you really just need to get something out there, you can use that. That will be a little bit better than just a pure static. But that won't allow you to follow your own branding. That won't allow you to A/B test at scale, because you'll have different templates and you'll try to mix and match and pass with different background and things like that. You won't be able to differentiate all the formats. As explained, you want the square, you want the vertical, horizontal, you want the IG story, you want the YouTube bumper ad. So this is going to give you a bit less flexibility. And eventually what you want is also the expertise behind, as usual. Yes, you can do in everything in digital marketing, you can go ahead by yourself, but if you're investing time and a little bit of money on there, you really want this to work. So that's exactly the reason why we and I created Motionable in the first place, which is I was tired of a very expensive agency, not to name any, but we will all recognize them, the very old and traditional media that would take 5,000 even for a 30-second video, right? And we couldn't get what we wanted to get the performance uplift when we were using the DIY tool as a performance marketing agency. So right in the middle, we created kind of by definition of a low-cost digital video ads agency. Like you get what you need to get and you strip down all the fat and what I call a little bit of the fluff bullshit around this to really go into getting the format you need. And just as a side note, but some of the videos I showcased to you, right, are less than 250 USD. So you get a full video made for your brand that will tailor to your objectives with experts for what I believe a very affordable price.
Wow, that's very affordable. I didn't think that. Wow. And what are the best channels to use for motion video?
Okay, so in terms of channels, I'll say there is no specific one. I mean, motion is a format. So once you have the video, it can be applied across everything, from your Facebook, from your Google, from your website, from your, even on TV, right? We have some of our customers using on TV. I guess the question is, what is the right channel for your campaign? Which is more of a digital marketing question. Right. If you're trying to get sales or if you're trying to get awareness, you're not going to pick the same. The idea is motion is a tool that can be used across everything.
Wonderful, thank you. We have a couple of questions from Diane. What if I don't have any assets? What would be your recommendation? Which motion video to use for a startup company?
So yeah, the assets is okay. One also, I'll tie that question back to how to choose between agencies and DIY. DIY, you have no assets, you'll use pre-made assets, right? Whether agency, you have no assets, usually they'll be like, oh, we can't do anything. Here, the idea is to work on the basics. You don't need hundreds of assets. You just need your logo, a few colors, and either you already have them or it's easy to define, and your product shoot. From here, you can craft literally any video you need to get it successful. If we have time, I can show you a few examples that are pretty much done with very, very limited resource. The entire motionable video presentation when I chop it down into different bits is pure text and a few images. So it can really be done by any company, no matter what the stage they are in, from entrepreneur to multinational.
Wow, it's so interesting how one image can generate so many different videos. It's amazing. And for a company that, just tying into that last question, for a company that want to change customers' perception, how would you, what motion would you use?
So I would say if you want to be on more of a branding topic, then you might want to use longer formats. So you might want to be into a 15 to a 30 second when you actually have a little bit more time to display what you want and really show a message. When you are a pure product, it's easy to go fast. But as soon as you enter storytelling, as you might have seen in the video I've shown, the short formats are extremely, extremely short, and they're made to be from speed people, screening on Facebook or Instagram. So you need to be like literally in a couple of seconds. So it will just trigger interest, or I already know and I want to buy. If you want them to stay on, I would suggest to work at least on a 15-second format, more on the IG stories or in areas where people are expecting to see more brand content and will be looking for it.
Right, right. So interesting, Cyril. And is there anything else that you wanted to add? Or I think that's all the questions for the moment.
Okay, perfect. No, I guess on my side, that's about it. I think you can, for anyone here, you can find if you have more questions and you want to go into a bit more one-to-one chat about your own brand and the usage, feel free to connect through the platform or on LinkedIn, up to you guys. Thanks, everyone. I think, I'm advocating for short format videos, so I'm also advocating for short format presentation. So I guess we can leave it at that. If there is no more question.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. And yes, if you want to connect with Cyril, make sure to get in touch with him. And I will be back on stage 2 for the future of mini branding and e-commerce. So back at 10 o'clock. And thank you so much, Cyril.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
In the past 10 years, Crack Revenue has been working hand in hand with affiliates. We feel blessed to have thousands of brand ambassadors across the world that proudly promote both Crack Revenue and our most profitable brands. Because of this, we want to help them succeed by doing everything we can, from dedicated affiliate managers to 24/7 live chat support, to newsletters and blogs packed with insight and expert advice. We also update our Crack Revenue platform on a monthly basis, providing more tools, more features, and more creative content for affiliates to use. Not only do we want affiliates to follow the whale, but become one as well.